Hi, everybody. My name is Howard Sambol, and I'm the founder and director of the Life Crafting Program. We guide people to clarify their purpose, passion, and unique genius so they can then make money doing what they love in their own unique, ideal business. Today, I have with me a former client in the Life Crafting Program. Her name's Neetu Bhandari. She's an amazing woman. And I'm really honored to be able to meet with her today. We're going to have a little discussion about her experience with life crafting. So it can be helpful to her and also helpful to people that are learning about this and really want to evaluate whether it's something that could be useful for them. So welcome, Neetu. So glad you're with me today. It's good to see you. It's been a while since we spoke, so I'm glad that we could connect today.
Pleasure is mine, Howard. Thanks for your warm welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. So the first question that I have for you, Neetu, is I know it's a few years back, but the first question I have for you is when you first learned about life crafting. I'd like to know a little bit about your situation at that time and what you felt that was your greatest challenge or need at that point. So maybe you could just share a little bit about that.
Sure, Howard. So I think we met around late 2018 or early 2019 in a New Living Expo fair. That's a
Right,
spiritual fair in San
that's
Mateo.
right.
So, uh, so at that point, like I had already been in information technology corporate career for 10 plus years, and it was so I was very burnt out in my career. Like I was not feeling fulfilled there, and just to feel good. And just to get in touch with the soul alignment things, I was pursuing many pastime hobbies related to spirituality, and that's why I was in that fair, exploring my real interest, that things that really interest me, and that's where we met. And when you mentioned about the life crafting, it just I just felt like as if I have manifested some system or you that I might be needing at that point, because I wanted to be I wanted to find a career or and the business down the road, which is aligned with my interest, core values, and passion, and
Very
not
good.
just
Thank
a
you.
daily grind of 9 to 5 in a typical intellectual corporate job.
Okay, so when you met me at the expo, you were already starting to focus your attention on what is it, what is my deepest truth, what is my core, what's my path, what is, so you're already beginning that in a sense, that inquiry. And you realized when you found life crafting, wow, this could be a system and a vehicle that can move me forward on that path.
That's right.
Okay, the second question I have for you is, a lot of people today are looking at a variety of different personal development or business development programs. And there, of course, are many of them, obviously, around. And so I'm wondering, what were the chief factors from your perspective looking back? What were the chief factors that made you feel comfortable with making a commitment to the program that because you had other choices, you had other things you could do out there. There's a zillion coaches, obviously, counselors, therapists, what were the chief factors that made you feel this really feels right to me?
So sure. So I think the key factor. So in my life, like I feel I'm a very relationship oriented person. So whatever I do, whatever I make a commitment to anything in life, whether it is my job or my or any other thing that I do, I need to feel that connection with that person. So I think first the key factor was you, because I found a connection with you.
Right.
I felt comfortable with you because I felt connected to you, and I felt like you could be a good mentor to me in what I am looking for in terms of finding my soul driven purpose.
Okay.
And the second thing was, as you started sharing the highlights of the program with me, because I had been a course junkie in the past. Like I have done like
Okay,
100 plus
okay.
courses
Okay,
before meeting you.
right.
And then I have taken like 30 plus trainings in different places before
Right.
meeting you. So, so when you started sharing the highlights of your program, first time I realized that you have a system in place where it is you are approaching things from holistically. It is not just an intellectual process. Before meeting you, before this life crafting, like before knowing about this life crafting program, whatever trainings I have done, because I've done a lot of trainings in my corporate career, and whatever courses I have done in the past, they all approach things intellectually. So it is very unidimensional. But
Right.
life craft, when you shared the highlights of life crafting, I realized you are approaching this problem holistically from multi dimensions. That that it is just not an intellectual process, but it is a process. It's a very multi-dimensional process where I need to do a lot of self-reflection, get in touch with my soul, my feelings, to know what are my deepest values and interests, and then create a career or a business down the road in alignment with those values and interests. So totally that was the totally differentiating factor from whatever I have done in the past, and that's what attracted me to it.
Thank you very much. I think that's very significant, Neetu, because you realize that your emotions, your feelings, that there are layers inside of you. There's a layers of awareness inside of you beyond the intellect,
Yes,
beyond pragmatic, that contain in them an incredible amount of wisdom and depth and truth and awareness, that those are the parts of you that really contain that, or give you access to that deepest truth. And I think you realize at that point that, okay, in order for me to get to this depth that I want to get to, I have to be able to access, those levels to be
yes,
able to do that. And that's a very important realization, I think, on your part. I stress it, but it doesn't mean, of course, people are always going to understand it. So it's good that you got that.
that's
Now,
right.
the next question I want to focus on is as you were going through the program, there were probably some highlights, some specific experiences or highlights as you went through it. And I'm curious to know what were the most prominent highlights. And I want to mention three things that are to point on three things: astrology, the mastermind group, and the promise game. So those are three components. Maybe you could share a little bit about what were your highlights in your experience, and if there's anything you want to add about those three components and how they play a role, mastermind, astrology, and the promise game. What role they play, which you felt was significant for you. That would be very useful, I think.
Sure, Howard. Definitely, you have brought about these three things, and I think there are a couple of more things which I found very valuable. So one was clarity dialogue, which helped me unravel my deepest values and interests, and then
Yeah,
second other thing was clear your belief process. Clear your belief process, because
right.
that was also very valuable thing that I learned. So besides these 3 points, these two other things were there. So these five were the key highlights, and then we can
Right.
go like one by one about how I found that they were adding value to the this program that I was taking with you. So I think with astrology, definitely, like when you made those charts, like again, I come from India, so we do a lot of astrology charts in India. So, but the way you do, so I was curious because it is like a Western way of, because I would be first time doing the Western way of astrology chart, because
Western
I was always
person.
used to doing the Eastern way of doing the
Right,
astrology.
right.
but so it kind of helped me because because you did that astrology chart with me multiple times, one right before we started the program, and then you were giving me insights like after every couple of months when you
Yeah,
that I needed them
ongoing changes.
ongoing. So I would say that it was very helpful in the way because so so I would say that astrology is like the astrology charts that like you were sharing with me. What I would say that that was kind of a snapshot or a blueprint of the things that are coming for me in the future. So it is like a what do you call it? It is like a north star. So now I can consciously create my goals to reach that north star.
Right,
So
right.
so that's how I think it was kind of valuable to have that.
Good, yeah, like the evolutionary process that you're going through and or at different stages in order to get to where you want to get to.
That's right. Because I found that based on my previous experience and then with you, I found that with because every human being is comes with a unique like a blueprint in terms of a soul, and then this whatever these universal planets have that effect that we scientifically track through this astrological chart.
Good. Okay. Okay. Anything about the mastermind or the promise game?
Oh yeah, definitely. So now next was the Promise game. I found it so enchanting, the Promise game, because I think you have designed it in such a beautiful way because it sounds simple, but it is very powerful because you have designed it in a way where you are kind of uh, teaching the importance of accountability through this promise game. And the accountability starts with ourselves first. Like I have to be accountable first with myself, then only I can be accountable to the rest of the world. So if I'm good at making promises to myself and keeping those promises, then I would get into the habit of keeping those commitments and promises to the rest of the world. And keeping and creating those goals and fulfilling those promises around those goals is what will definitely help me achieve what I'm aiming for in terms of my career or business and then achieving that success down the road. And the second highlight of Promise game that I found interesting and very, very valuable and very touching, I would say, moving was that it is designed where, like, the way you have designed it, like when you break the promises, it's not like, typical punishment style that we get in corporate,
Yeah,
even in school, in universities.
yeah.
You are punished for missing your deadlines and for not achieving your goals.
Right.
But there, just like a very, you are just like a very uh, I I don't know, like a counselor, you are made to you are made to feel very comfortable among that mastermind group where people are helping you. Okay, it's not a big deal. Or why did you break your promise? Let's figure it out and let's empower you so that you can fulfill that promise. So you are basically it's coming from the sense of empowerment and not from the sense of punishment.
Right. So the supportive nature and the empowering nature and the playful nature of the game made it easier to move ahead and to become more consistent and masterful with your own direction, your own steps.
That's right. Because I think even the one thing that spirituality has taught me is that uh, body grows, but inside we all are like small child, and we want to be, we grow fast when we are in the loving, warm, and
Sure.
empowering environment. The body could be aging, we could become like 50, 60, or 90 or 100 years, but inside our soul is like an inner child. It always needs that love, that warmth, that flexibility, that comfort, then only we will be achieving our goals. But if there is a tension, stress, punishment, all that, toxic, lower vibration emotions, then a person won't feel comfortable in that environment. And
So the environment of unconditional love and compassion as
that's
a foundational space,
that's
and
right.
then be able to build in that space, and actually rather fierce, empowering energy to move people forward, but never forgetting that they're loved and they're never judged for whatever happens, provides the environment for the either winning or learning, as the only two options that can happen is winning or learning. And I think you were particularly I think tuned into that, because I know you were working closely with me on our ClickUp thing. So you were very tuned into that. It was wonderful to see you really grasping that on a deeper level, which was nice to see.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah. So now looking back on life crafting, it's been a few years. What would you say are the biggest takeaways from the program that have stayed with you, that are, noticeably a part of your repertoire? We'll just, for lack of a better term, we'll just call it your repertoire in your life now, your toolkit, your repertoire, your skill set. We can use different names for it, but those takeaways that are now part of you, that you can see were derived from the life crafting experience, which probably would not be there if you had not done the program. So if you could say a little bit about that, would be very useful.
Sure. So I think the first takeaway was that, like, while working in the mastermind groups with all the like-minded people, so that was the number one takeaway. Like, I wouldn't have gotten it if I had not been part of life crafting. The clear your beliefs. So, like,
Yes.
finding my blind spots. Like, because if I'm alone working like an island, I won't know what are my blind spots. But when I'm in a community like a mastermind group with other like-minded people who are on the similar journey of creating their business, so now they can see my blind spots, which I cannot see.
Right.
Because I particularly remember in one of the mastermind groups, just watching, like, Kathy was sharing his pattern, that he was also that training junkie, that she used to buy those training modules, and
Right.
then you broke her pattern, that you don't need so many trainings, you just need a few meaningful trainings, and then you need to take inspired action on those insights by going deep into those trainings. And when you were sharing, you were guiding her, I realized, oh my God, that is my blind spot. I had taken 100 plus trainings in 10 years and have wasted so much money and have not used 95% of those trainings. I've hardly used 5% of them. So this, like, that finding a blind spot that could only happen in a community of like-minded people. So this was the biggest takeaway for me. I wouldn't have learned it without going through this life crafting program.
Very good, very good. And when you look ahead to your continued development in your own business, and doing something that is your greatest gift, sharing your greatest gifts with others, and you move forward with your plan, with your business, what do you feel you have available to you that you can apply to that a business framework that you learned, that you feel is available to you to apply? And can you say a little about that?
I think definitely. So life crafting program, the way this whole system has been set up is kind of it gives me a kind of a blueprint how I can set up my business, in the same way, like whatever business I choose, like, the little exercises that I did with the clarity dialogue with you was like, I came to know that, okay, I think if I somehow do something related to business analysis and in some healthcare field, I would be doing good, because that's where my core interests and values are. So there,
Well, yeah, I think you're referring, if my sense is, you're referring to the business model, the business model and the framework. The
yeah,
framework, and that's what we teach. We teach a framework, and then we apply that framework to
right.
your unique gift. But it actually is, in some respects, a template. It actually functions in some ways as a template that can be adapted to people's individual situations. So that's very cool.
That's right.
That's good. Wonderful. Well, thank you. Now, my last question, Neetu, pertains to anything you would like to say for new people. And I'm sure you realize that we're at a time right now in both in the world and in our country, in the US, where people are, they're very, very often disillusioned, confused, conflicted, don't know where to go. What they did before really isn't working for them anymore, but they don't know what new direction to go in, and they don't know what to trust. Because as you know, trust is always the foundation really to everything, right?
That's right.
What would you say to them that you feel could be helpful in understanding what is possible for them with life crafting, like what this could give them, and relative to those really difficult situations so many people are in today that you think could be valuable?
Sure. So I think I know because I have been into that place and I am slowly unraveling and taking myself forward. So the biggest thing I would share for the newcomers is that based on our life experiences, we all have like gone through wins and losses and struggles. So based on all those life experiences, we all are carrying some unhealthy patterns, thought patterns, behavioral patterns in our subconscious mind. That is the biggest thing that is blocking us to not realize our full potential. And life
Right.
crafting gives that excellent platform with this whole holistic mastermind community where we all work on breaking those patterns and really connecting to our soul to find those values and interest, and then create a rewarding, financially rewarding career and business around it. So that would be my biggest wisdom to share with the newcomers.
Thank you. That's really good. That's very clearly stated. So it is a way to transform past patterns. It's a way to heal maybe wounds, emotional wounds or pain,
Yes,
disappointments from the past. And it's a way to get into that environment, that unconditionally loving environment, which is so empowering to make you feel like, you know, you are really not broken and you don't need to be fixed and you're perfect the way you are. And you just tapped into your core nature with, you know, your abilities and be able to share your gifts with others. So really that's what I'm hearing from you. That is
yes,
really,
yes.
really
Because
key.
before joining life crafting, I used to think productivity only in terms of unidimensional intellectual process. That productivity is, that I should exercise, I should meditate, now I should sleep well, and then I should focus on these whatever I'm doing, like my business related or career related things with intense focus for 2 to 3 hours. But after going through this life crafting experience, I realized that productivity, this is just a physical aspect of productivity. The productivity can be increased hundredfold if we work on our emotional and thought patterns, because
Right.
they are the blockages that are blocking us from really moving progress. And that's the gift I got from life crafting.
But you know what I'm noticing also, Neetu, is that I think that the awareness that your inner world and your outer world are mirror reflections of each other. You kind of knew that before, maybe a little bit, but I think my my guess is that in the program, that awareness went much deeper. So
Yes,
you really got to see that in so many experiences. So you
yes,
know that if some is a struggle here, you can go in here and work on it and shift it.
yes, that's right.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Well, I'm delighted and really appreciate you taking the time to answer these questions. And you seem to have retained, you know, very vividly a lot of what we did. So I'm
That's
pleased.
the impact you have made on me.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you again, and I'm looking forward to you know, having this available to people that they can use, and perhaps maybe some people might want to contact you with some questions. But
Sure,
if you'd like that if you're okay with that, that would be good.
sure. It would be my pleasure, Howard. Thank you.
Yeah. So excellent, very good. So thank you again, and we'll definitely be being staying in touch.
Sure, Howard. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.